Hey guys, I'm Gil Butler, the Primal Chef, coming to you today with another recipe from the Bioptimizers Primal Paleo Cookbook. We're gonna be doing a fry bread today, a cauliflower fry bread. It's pretty simple. It just involves throwing some ingredients in a bowl, making little patties, and getting them fried in some avocado oil. Simple, right? Here's what you'll need. Coconut flour, avocado oil, salt, eggs, riced cauliflower, and coconut-based shortening. So this is not the normal shortening that you'd find in a conventional grocery store that's made with partially hydrogenated oils. That's some of the worst stuff you can eat. But you gotta check your shortening and make sure it is the good stuff. For instance, this one is actually organic palm fruit oil, organic unrefined virgin coconut oil, and organic unrefined red palm oil. So these are all good quality oils that they've made into a natural shortening, and this is what you wanna use, not the generic stuff. So the first step is we have our 3 cups of riced cauliflower, and it needs to be steamed completely. If you want to speed up this step, you can use a microwave as well, but if you're trying to avoid microwaves, which is totally understandable, the old-fashioned way would be to steam it. So we have our steam basket set up, boiling water underneath, so dumping in our 3 cups of riced cauliflower. And put the lid back on it. Give it a stir if needed. It's gonna take about 5 to 10 minutes, but that is important to do this step because afterwards we're gonna try to squeeze as much water out of there as we can. And let me tell you, cauliflower has a lot of water, but if we were to fry it right now without first cooking it and then losing the water, it would just fall apart. So you don't wanna do that. So just get that steamed and then we can continue. So while the cauliflower is steaming, we can get the rest of our ingredients into the bowl. So we have 3 eggs. Three tablespoons of our good quality shortening. A 1/4 cup of coconut flour, also known as 4 tablespoons of coconut flour. Got 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're also gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. This is naturally derived. It's used in a lot of gluten-free baking, and it just helps give it more of a kind of a traditional wheat-like texture, as much as you can. And you don't need much of it, just a 1/4 teaspoon. And I'm also gonna do a full teaspoon of salt. Cool. So we'll just let that hang out, and then when our cauliflower is ready, we will incorporate it with each other. All right, so it's been 5 minutes. Check on our cauliflower. And yeah, you can see it's already cooked. When it's cut up this small, when it's riced like this, it doesn't take much. But now the important steps, turn it off. And some people use like a nut milk bag to do this, but I like to use a ricer. It's just, we're not actually gonna rice it, but it gives us a good leverage to squeeze out the water, and we need all of it gone. So I'm just gonna fill up as much of this as I can. All right. And just watch how much water is gonna come out. Just gently squeezing. Not enough force to actually push it through. And then you can also, some of it comes to the top, so you can rotate it. Even more water comes out. And keep it going. Sometimes if you kind of wait a couple seconds, even more water will start to come out. Okay. So you saw, this thing was completely full when I started doing it, and that was cooked. It wasn't even raw. It was just cooked cauliflower that hadn't been squeezed, and now, I mean, look at that. Basically reduced by 75% just by getting the water out. And that's the stuff that we want to use. Just gonna scoop it Okay, so now we have, we started with about 3 cups of cauliflower rice. We cooked it, it probably dropped to 2 cups or so. Then we squeezed the water out. Now we're maybe at a cup left. So that you can just see how much really it changes. But now that can go in with the rest of your ingredients. And we're gonna start with a whisk. Mix it up. There might be a point where we switch to our hands if it's easier. You can see the shortening we put in, we didn't melt it. We want it to have some texture to it. All right, so I'm gonna get this skillet heated. All right, so putting some avocado oil into the pan. Tablespoon if you have a smaller pan. I need to go higher for a bigger one like this. And it's a little delicate, but we can flatten it out also in the oil. There's enough dough to do more of these, but I just recommend until you get the hang of it, it's a little bit of a tricky dough. Just do one at a time, just until you're familiar with it. Add more oil if you need. And you can even tilt the pan, give it more of a fried experience. Send all that oil into one corner. It's a good idea too, if you can let the rice cauliflower cool before you combine it with the rest of the ingredients, that actually would have been better, and you would have made more sense to use the rolling pin then, because it would have been kind of more of a standard dough. But since we put it all in hot, it started melting a bit, and so then it just became easier to hand form it and plop it into the oil directly. So you can see it's starting to brown on the edges, and you can kind of test it, try to pick it up, see if it would fall apart. If it would fall apart, that means it's not ready to flip. However, if you can get your spatula under it, it's holding its shape, then we will flip. Look at that, beautiful. That's exactly what it should look like. It's golden brown, it's not burned, you don't see really any black on there. And we need to get the other side. I'm tilting it again. And we're frying. Medium-high heat, avocado oil. There's also shortening in the fry bread itself that's rendering out as we do this, keeping it nice and moist. So if you end up with more oil than you started with, that's probably why. Second side goes faster because it's already so hot. Let's see if we can see the other side. You can even give it another flip just to be sure. Look at that, flip it again. It is sturdy now. If there's any loose parts, they can come off. They're gonna burn anyway. And we can pull this out. So it's golden brown, both sides. Take it out. We got a paper towel underneath just to absorb some of that extra oil that's coming off there. And you can just kind of let it rest. If you eat it super hot, it might try to fall apart on you. At least just get it to room temperature. And you can use that in a variety of recipes, such as our American style salmon salad, which is another recipe in the Primal Paleo cookbook. It is great to just throw right on top of there, and you can eat it kind of like an open-faced sandwich. But for now, that is it for this one. I'm Gil Butler, the Primal Chef. You can find more about me at theprimalchef.com or on Instagram, _primalchef, and look for the Bioptimizers Primal Paleo cookbook in the links below. All right, so we have 4 of these nice cauliflower fry breads. Recommend let it cool off at least a little bit. If you try to eat them right away, not only will you burn your mouth, but they'll probably fall apart a bit. But give them a couple minutes, you can pick them up, you can tear it off. Let's give it a shot. That was good. For this, especially for this being keto, gluten-free, grain-free, all of that good stuff, that is good. It's got some great flavor on there, and you can use it for a variety of other recipes we have in the book, like the American style salmon salad. It can go right on top. It's great.